A friendly professional voice in the unlikely event we lose cabin pressure. Now, if you are like me, at that point, you start reading the book that you brought. And you aren't really happy to hear later on that the seats can be flotation devices. But the central advice of that message is that you should take care of yourself first and put on that oxygen mask before you put it on your children as the plane whirls down into the abyss. That is very important advice for any caretaker. Your care is only going to be as good as you are feeling and taking care of. Now, many people are taking care of seniors in their house. It has been estimated that almost 1 in 4 homes has someone being cared for. It's been estimated that caregivers give like 18 hours a week of such care, taking people to the doctor, working on their finances, doing hands-on help. Many of these people have to work jobs outside, and it is a great strain on the family. And consider what would happen if we didn't have Social Security. Now, some of the oxygen masks for caregivers is to try to get the person you're caring for interested and out and away to have some time off. One thing you should look into are adult care centers, and they're in every community. And they take seniors and they feed them lunch, and they have different kinds of crafts to work on. They have dances, they have computer training, they have everything. So if there's one in your neighborhood, you can leave your senior off all day, part of the day, 1 day a week, 5 days a week. Another thing you might want to look into is the marvelous opportunities on the web now. They have not only a lot of games that people could get involved with, but they have social clubs as well. People that might have a common disease have a social club and they exchange emails, and that gets people interested and but between the two of us out of your hair for a couple hours. If you have kids, they'll be out of your hair for 6 or 7 hours if they're before the computer. Now, if you are working, if you have a job, you'll probably have to try to get some flex time with your employer. A lot of new corporations or big corporations are now having elder programs for their employees to help out elder relatives. And obviously, if the place you work has one, great place to start. Now, for employers that hire more than 50 people a year or have 50 people or more, there is something called the Family and Medical Leave Act that requires them to allow you to take time off, unpaid, but still to take time off without losing your job if that's necessary to take care of a sick family member. Getting help. One thing is you can obviously hire part-time or full-time help. That can become very expensive. Obviously, what you're worried about there is making sure the person you're hiring is competent and is honest, because they're going to have a lot of access to your papers and to checkbooks and whatever. You can go through to your area council on aging, maybe for some references to get people to hire people. Also, you can look in through them or through another resource, services that are geared for the elderly. For example, Meals on Wheels can take care of some of the daily routine. Also, they have transportation for doctor visits. So there are a lot of services in place now that can help you as a caregiver. Don't try to do everything yourself. One thing you have to do, however, if you have a senior in your home or if one of your relatives is living in their home and is getting elderly, is to make sure that the house is safe for them to be there. Number one, seniors fall. If they fall and break their hip, that can be totally devastating. You can put in showers and next to the toilet, grab rails. That will really help prevent falls. Seniors lose night vision as well. You should have a lot of night lights leading the way to the bathroom. And I'm not going to bore you with how often seniors might have to go to the bathroom. Seniors lose strength. Chairs without arms are hard to get out of because you can't use your arms to push off with. Very simple to get chairs with arms. Seniors have slower reaction times. One thing you want to do is to check the hot water in your house or in the home to see how hot it is. Because if it's too hot, somebody can really burn themselves before they can quickly get the cold back on. So you can turn down your hot water heater, and that's something to prevent future injuries. And of course, seniors have emergencies. You should have phones, cordless phones best, to be able for them, if you're not home, to phone someone, to have it maybe on speed dial and things of that nature. There may be structural changes that you'll have to make in your house. For example, a wheelchair ramp, widen hallways, the bathroom facilities with the grab rails and things like that. How can you pay for that? If the person that and they probably will be on Medicare, Part A of Medicare will pay for certain durable medical equipment, like wheelchairs. And you should look into that. There'll probably be a co-payment of like 20%, but you should look into it. If you're making structural changes or have to buy a lot of equipment, look into Medicare. Now, if you or your senior is renting, there's a federal law that says that the landlord has to allow you to make those changes on the condition that when you move out, you put back the house the way it was. So that's an important right to know about. Taking care of a senior is going to have a lot of financial strain. One thing that you can take a look at, of course, if the person has a long-term care insurance policy, that may cover parts of home care. And if you are still in the market to buy one, such a policy, you should make sure that it does cover at least some parts of home care. Second thing is, if the individual is a veteran, there may be veteran benefits that would be available. And third of all, if you are caring for someone in your home, you may be entitled to an additional federal tax exemption. So that's 3 areas to look into. One thing you have to do, there's a lot of problems when one of the siblings is take care of mom and dad, and the others are off doing something else. And the people off doing something else have no idea how hard it is to take care of a senior, how hard home care is, how expensive it is. And they might come back, and that might cause a family fight. To say, what were you doing? You went through all of the money. What was going on here? It's very important at some point, hopefully before you even start, to sit everybody down in the family and talk about, okay, I'll take dad, but I want you to realize that I'm going to be working like 18 hours a week taking care of dad. And I'm going to have to cut back on my work hours. And it's going to be a tremendous strain on me and my family. So don't you come back later on complaining about me spending too much money or spending too much time, because otherwise I'm not going to take dad. And get that stuff clear before you get it out. Now, one thing is that if you're a caregiver, you are going to experience a lot of hard work, a lot of frustration. You're going to be angry at times, and you're going to be depressed at times. And that is why it is very important for you to take care of yourself. A lot of elder abuse occurs because the caregiver comes to the end of their rope, and they're desperate, and they don't know what to do. But if you take these steps to try to get people to help you, you can be a good caregiver and things will go well. So again, in the unlikely event things are starting to go bad, put on your own oxygen mask first.